Hey Prasad, how are you doing today?
Hi, Priya. Doing fine. How are you?
I'm doing very well, and I'm excited to be speaking to you, especially on a topic around sales. And I've been recently working along with Venkat in sales workshops. I'd
Right.
always considered myself to be in the leadership space, and of late, I'm seeing myself into sales engagements,
Right.
and I'm learning a lot there. And that's one
Right.
of the key things that is exciting me to understand a little bit more from sales professionals.
Right.
You've been in sales for about more than 25 years now,
Yes. Yes.
and you've been in the space of consultative selling,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And now also what you work on is to help solution for customers with understanding their needs and their talent transformation and sales transformations, right? That's what you're working on. So I want to understand from you, Prasad, because oftentimes when I have spoken to customers, they are also very impressed with your ability to understand what they require and then very use the right level of processes to gather information and then get to solution for them. And that's a wonderful trait for sales professionals.
Right. Right.
So I wanted to understand how you have developed that trait and how does it show up for you in customer conversations. I'd love to understand more from you, Prasad.
Yes, Priya. So, how do I started listening to customers? How do I gather? What you see here is a notebook and pencil. So, this is my first lesson. My days it started with Wipro, say, in early 2000. So one of the first meetings, early meetings, I was sitting and I had one of my business unit heads who was reviewing some of the receivables and other things. And it was a very heated meeting where the review was happening. And I was looking at it on the Excel sheets and they were asking for responses. We were giving that. And, I still remember, some of the things were there, but she walked towards my chair and I should be in my mid 20s then. And she just gave me a thing saying that, where are you taking the notes? Are you taking the notes of all these things? And I said, take it. So that was a very, very important thing where when we participate in any discussion, whether it is an internal discussion or with respect to customer discussion, we need to be extremely attentive to what they are saying. And this notes taking today, a lot of gadgets have come and things have evolved, and a lot of sophisticated things are available. But I still love the joy of taking notes with a pen and pencil or a paper because that reinforces us to actively listen, make a note, and important thing is to take action on it. And throughout my career, I have always carried a notebook in terms of physical notebook. And during my consulting days, the notebooks used to get vanished very quickly because that's the level of extensive notes taking which we used to, do in consulting. Gather as much as information from the thing. And one of the curses of sales professional or misunderstood aspects of sales profession is about talking.
Yes.
And unfortunately, in any profession, communication is a two-way street. And especially in sales, it is not about how you communicate, it's how much you observe and then communicate. That's the most important. And
Yeah.
that's value, again, one of a leader reinforced me in my early stages, early career.
Yeah.
He was a leader who came from an operations background. He was my practice head for supply chain consulting, and I was working with him. He never had a sales experience. He came from factory, and he was supposed to grow the practice. And one of the early things he told us is we are supposed to go and get the business. We are supposed to execute the projects. So first thing he told is it is not important how much you basically sell or how much you talk or something like that. That's a second competency. The first important thing is how much you listen to customer. And I had seen him practicing for hours together. If he used to listen and take a complete notes of that and then action it out. So he was leading by example. So I would say I was fortunate to have worked with the leaders who actually molded me into this particular thing. And starting with a very, what you call, a carrot and stick approach. And then it has become a habit today that today, even for going to a provision shop, either I take my list in my mobile phone or I take a sheet of paper. And that helps in selling, especially with respect to when we come to customer interactions.
Wonderful, wonderful. I mean, this is a very, I would say, traditional, but still, I mean, it's an evergreen approach for selling, especially in a distracted world like how we are today. Yes, and we have distractions when we're talking. There are 10 distractions that come in our way, and but having the ability and discipline. I think is more to do with sales and sales discipline or a seller discipline, right? So that they're able to get into the habit of active listening, and then of course getting to working with the customer and co-creating the solutions.
Correct.
What are other practices that you have imbibed, especially when it comes to customer solutioning, Prasad? What else?
Right. So there are some foundational principles of sales which I use it for solutioning as well. First thing is preparation. So whenever we get into any meeting, a pre-planned meeting, to the extent possible, today we have the luxury of Google and so many other things to do extensive research, and we get everything in a click of a button. Even in those days when so much of internet penetration was not there, we used to do at least call few people, understand a little bit, or read printed articles, news, documents, and learn and prepare. So that's again, whether whatever age it could be, that is the first principle we used to do. Second thing principle is in solution selling is don't propose solution first to begin with. So the first thing is we will have to actively listen to the customer. We will have to see if there is really a problem to be solved from the customer. And if third important principle is don't force fit a solution. That's again an important issue. Don't force fit a solution. We will have a portfolio to offer, and in some of the meetings you will find that whatever we are having may not fit and solve the problem of the customer. In that case, we will have to politely tell them that these are some capabilities, but say that this particular specific problem cannot be addressed by us. If we have that honesty and saying that this cannot be addressed, but I would be able to solve all these other aspects, then the customer will recollect that and come back. But unfortunately, what happens, mostly I had seen in IT environment, we have a set of portfolio and there is a customer problem. And in most situations, this force fitting is an issue which actually jeopardizes the entire thing. And the first thing a customer looks at is whether he or she doesn't look at whether this will solve my problem. My manager has told, first thing a customer looks at from a salesperson is whether the person has understood my problem, whether he or she has understood my need in detail, whether the person empathizes with me, whether he has got into the depth of that issue. So that's the first evaluation which is happening in any buyer's mind, saying that are they in my shoes and are they in things. So once that big issue is sorted out, solution is of course the secondary part of it, which is secondary. So I think this is the most important, crucial aspect when it comes to any selling, whether it's what you call starting from, even it could be a commodity to solution to the high level consulting. Putting oneself in customer shoes, active listening, and then responding is what is the sequence I believe, Priya.
Wonderful, wonderful, Prasad. This is very useful. I think it's a fundamentals for any sales professionals. But I would say since sales skills are life skills, it's also useful as we work with various stakeholders, be it internal stakeholders or external stakeholders. I think some of these things that you called out is that enables active listening, and then understanding the customer needs, and then getting to what would be appropriate and right for them. I mean, keeps the integrity in place, and there's also a sense of authenticity that you bring to the table, right? When everything is, when the customer or the stakeholders are aware of all the information these days, and there is a level of, awareness that they have, our differentiation comes in the way we are able to demonstrate, the connection, the empathy, and then taking, necessary action. So this is very useful, Prasad. Thank you very much.